So in this field, what are the questions that remain? I mean, it's what we talked about earlier, the explanatory gap. I mean, the activation of various receptors in the brain making the connection. What's the sequence of events that goes from this sort of reductionistic receptor activation to this change in behavior or mystical state? And right now, most of the research is focused probably on psilocybin at the present time, which is, of course, a tryptamine related to DMT. I think because one thing is not many people have heard the term. When people say LSD, everyone knows what it is. So psilocybin is relatively unknown in the public consciousness. So it keeps it low. DMT, of course, is even less well known. I think DMT is interesting as a tool because if you're really interested in the basis for mystical states, which is what a lot of people are interested in, what is a mystical state? And I mentioned, I had this fantasy of writing a book, The Biochemical Basis for Religious Experience. If that's really what's interesting, the other psychedelics don't get you there very reliably. DMT does. And so from that perspective, I think it would be really useful to see studies with DMT. For example, talking about brain scans, PET scans, etc. You can scan people now and they have taken psilocybin or mescaline, and you can see changes in brain activity and sort of see how it connects to what the people are feeling. But if you want to achieve a mystical state, that's something that you can't normally get with psilocybin or mescaline. And I think it would be very interesting to do some brain scans with subjects in a PET scanner, for example, where you can fairly reliably produce this high dose effect, mystical, transcendental, otherworldly, transpersonal, whatever you want to call it, this different state. And I think that would be one power of DMT that would really be interesting, the ability to induce this state and study the sort of brain chemistry and sort of fill in that part of the gap with that particular substance.